afternoon. Welcome to our Prayers Matters. I am Minister Lois Brown, and we are just indeed excited that you have decided to tune in today. And if it is your first time, we just pray and hope that something will be said that will bless you. I want to talk about today trusting God in the midst of our storms. I pray and hope, even though you may be facing a storm, that you woke up this morning going to God in prayer, taking that whatever is weighting you down to Him in prayer. At some point in all of our lives, we've all had to face the trials and the tribulations that life brought to us. But life can certainly catch us at any point off guard. I too myself have had to face my share of trials and tribulations, but I was never alone in facing my trials because I knew that I could take everything to God in prayer. Just like I said, life can certainly catch us off guard, and there are things that we have to challenge, and we feel as though, why do we have to face what we're going through? But if you think about it, if we never had to face anything in life, we would never know the goodness and the faithfulness of our God. Sometimes in life, we can get too far apart from God. And I think that that is His way of reeling us back in and drawing us back close to Him. I want to say today that the storms and the trials that we may be facing, they did not come to weaken us. They came to strengthen us and to draw us back closer to God. We're living in a world today whereas this new administration has brought on some massive changes. People are challenging the loss of jobs. People are encountering financial woes. People's marriages and relationships are deteriorating. People are worried about their family, children, and loved ones. People are just challenging the storms of life. But what do? We go to God and trust that He will see us through. Psalms 56 and 4 in the Bible says, "In God I will put my trust." So if we put our trust in God, we won't have to fear what we're going through because God has promised us. He said in Matthew 28 and 20, "Lo, I'm with you always, even to the ends of this earth." So we got to know that God has us. He has us through this storm, and He will take us through this storm. But it's going to take our faith in Him to see us through. I say this to say this in life. God is looking for people that will trust Him in the midst of everything that we are going through. Matthew 19:26 in the Bible says, "There is nothing too hard for our God." there is nothing impossible for him. So we've got to take him at his word and at his promise. And that will allow us to go through. Because God says, I will never leave you nor forsake you, nor put no more on us than we can bear. Sometimes we may feel like the storm is unbearable, but God will see us through. Psalms 56:4 in the Bible says, in God I put my trust. So if we can trust him for one thing, we can trust him for it all. So if we're encountering our trials and our storms and our tribulations, we've got to remember there's a story in the Bible in Mark 4 when the disciples were going through their physical storm. Even though Jesus was on board with them, they were fearful. They went and woke him up and said, Father, do you care that we are perishing? He stood up. He rebuked that storm. He said, storm, be still. And I think that is one of the best illustrations in the Bible as far as what God can do in the midst of our storms. If he did it back then, God is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. If he did it for them, he can calm your storm and quiet your storm. I'm often, and I tell people often, if God brings you to a storm, he will take you through that storm. But it's going to take our faith and trust in him that he will see us through. So no matter what you're facing today, these storms and these trials didn't come to weaken us. They came to build up our spiritual muscles. And I tell everybody, I've been like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the Bible, but I haven't been consumed. In the midst of everything that I had to go through, God was right there carrying me, even when I didn't even know that he was carrying me. And I thank God that my faith didn't wither. I thank God that I relied on him to see me through. A lot of times in life, we're just going through and we feel like we have no one that we can go to and that people will care about what we're going through. But we have a God that sits high and he looks low. His eyes are on the sparrow. And I know he's watching over us. And he will see us through. But again, like I said, it's going to take our faith and belief in him that he will see us through. So my prayer is that you will ride out this storm knowing that storms don't last always and that God will see you through. And I will also intercede to God on your behalf, knowing that he will see you through and he has his hands on you. Have an amazing day and just trust God that he will see you through this storm. Bye-bye. Keep those prayers going.